Hello, welcome, and happy Easter. Thank you for joining us today. We will be making my mom's glazed ham recipe. This recipe is pretty simple, so I'll walk you through the steps and the ingredients that you'll need. So what we'll start with is getting the ham oiled and seasoned up. Then we'll put it into our preheated oven at 350 degrees for about 30 minutes. And this initial cook will make the next steps go a lot smoother. So while that's in the oven, what we'll be working on is the glaze itself and getting our materials prepared for getting that glaze on the ham. Our seasoning is pretty simple. We've just got some salt, pepper, garlic powder. Easy enough. All right, so while that ham is down in there baking, we are going to get our glaze started. Now, this is obviously the most important part of any glazed ham. And to give it the nice sweet crust that we want, we're going to be starting with about 2 cups of brown sugar. I like to use dark brown sugar. And what this does is not only does it add to the flavor of the pineapple and the clove, but like I said, as it caramelizes, you will get a very nice crust on the outside of that ham, which is exactly what we're going for. So we get this on a medium heat, allow it to slowly come close to boil, just so we can know that that sugar is melted down completely. And then we'll get started adding the pineapple juice as well as some ground clove, just to complement the outside of that, the cloves on the outside of the ham itself. Now, as soon as you can hear the sugar having melted, not hearing any of those granules rattling around, that'll be a good time to add your pineapple juice. And this will add a fair amount of sweetness, believe it or not, to the brown sugar. And I do recommend tasting it a little bit, because what you can do if it's a little bit sweeter than you're liking is to add a pinch of kosher salt, or really any salt, obviously, just to bring that down a little bit. And that's right where I want it to be. So you'll let this continue on the heat. I've turned it down to a low heat just so I don't have it sticking to the bottom, which would obviously be a problem. And you'll let this continue to warm up so that when you're actually ladling it onto the ham, it's thickened up nicely. Because the last thing that you want is a glaze that just runs down the side of the ham, it sticks to the bottom of the pan, because then you can't eat it. All right, so it's been about 30 minutes. You can see the surface of the ham has started to brown a little bit, which is exactly what we want. So our next step will be to score the ham, which will allow us to apply the cloves to the surface of the ham, which we will then cover in pineapple, and then finally we will ladle about a quarter of our glaze on top of that. So once the ham has been covered, we will put it back into the oven, and I recommend you cover up the surface of the ham with tin foil just to make sure it doesn't brown too quickly. And we'll bake that again at 350 for about 15 minutes, when you'll then take it out and repeat the cycle just with the glaze. So I recommend doing it 2 or 3 times, baking it for 15 minutes, pulling it out, covering it with the glaze, putting it back in the oven just to make sure that that surface gets nice and crisp with that sweet glaze. So this is the near finished product. And you'll notice that I had to put some of these toothpicks in the pineapples just to keep them on as it baked. Generally, you'll find that they stick, but this is this is about an 8-pound ham, so I did have to bake it for the full about an hour and a half. So you'll have to figure out the right cooking time based on the weight of the ham that you're cooking. But either way, you'll want to make sure that you're taking it out and reglazing it roughly every 15 minutes. That's what the recipe recommends. And right before serving, I like to take a little bit of that pineapple glaze. You'll notice that I've dropped some pineapple slices in there and pour it right over the top. So this has been simmering for the full cooking time, so it's thickened up a little bit, and obviously it'll make sure that as the ham rests, it doesn't dry out. So with that, you've completed, your holiday ham for whatever holiday you'd like to make it to celebrate, and I hope you enjoy. See you next time.